Et salutations voyageurs, bienvenue dans The Stanley Parable. Un jeu qui joue plus avec le joueur que le joueur ne joue avec lui. Comme vous pouvez le voir, on a déjà l'écran qui contient un écran qui propose exactement la même image, et dans lequel se trouve encore un écran, et ainsi de suite. Je vais espérer que l'enregistrement se passe bien, parce que ça l'a coupé la première fois que j'ai voulu lancer le jeu. Oui, ça a l'air de marcher cette fois.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ah bon? D'accord.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Ok. Ah bon. Ah. Ça me fait juste reprendre. Pourquoi faire?
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure.
Ah, je peux pas
What if he
ouvrir.
had to make
Bon,
a
bah,
decision?
d'accord.
What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained
J'ai
for that.
juste appuyé sur A devant la porte pour la
This
refermer.
couldn't go any way except badly.
Il n'y a rien qui
The thing
s'affiche.
to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt
Bon,
me.
c'est bon, là j'ai eu cette
Nothing
fin.
will break me.
Si on appelle
In
ça une
here I
fin.
can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days.
Ah, je peux
Had years
m'accroupir.
gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he
Normalement,
knew
c'est
for
tout ce que je peux
sure,
faire.
beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the
C'est
answers
écrit, là.
would come.
Je déteste les
Eventually,
lundis.
someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Bon, ok. Deux fois la même chose pour rien. Cette fois, on va essayer d'explorer. Donc, il dit que Stanley est sorti du bureau. Et ensuite?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
On peut pas voir ce qui est écrit là-dessus? On peut pas zoomer ou je sais pas? Dommage. What? Ah bon, les portes elles se ferment derrière moi. Qu'est-ce que... Tiens, ça donne sur un couloir avec d'autres choses encore.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Ah. Bon, je marche sur les bureaux maintenant. Bon, ok, on continue. Ça me fait vraiment penser à Portal avec toutes les bizarreries où on a l'impression que c'est... Enfin, que rien que l'endroit où on est, c'est que des conneries. Regardez les murs à l'extérieur, on dirait que c'est juste un décor.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Non.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
J'ai refusé de suivre ce qu'il me disait là. Hein.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Non.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Il y en avait une autre de porte? J'aurais peut-être dû attendre.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
C'est le narrateur qui se fout de ma gueule. C'est le narrateur qui voulait que je suive ce qu'il me dit. Lol. Alors comme ça on est dans un entrepôt. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Ne sautez pas du truc pendant qu'il bouge. Ça provoquera la mort. Si on utilise mal l'objet, enfin l'espèce d'ascenseur, cargo, appelez ça comme vous voulez, ça coûte 1000$. Si on saute du cargo, ça coûte 5000. Je vois pas de bouton, je fais quoi?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you.
Brisage de quatrième mur.
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Oh, now, I'm not asking for me, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and
Voilà, ça me
plunged to
coûtera
his
5000$.
death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
C'est complètement pire. Ah, du coup, ça me recommence là. Bon, bah, on va essayer d'avancer comme tout à l'heure.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Ouais, ça on valait le coup.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
Il est en train
It's
d'insulter
possible
Stanley.
that this is why everyone left.
Que je contrôle. En fait, il a envie que...
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Est-ce qu'il va encore dire un truc? Non, c'est bon. Bon.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room, and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Donc il veut que je prenne celle à gauche, donc je vais continuer à dire non.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Il se fout de ma gueule parce que j'ai pas suivi la direction. Je peux l'ouvrir celui-là, tiens. Il faut carrément une carte magnétique. Voyons, l'ascenseur, enfin le truc qui va mener à ce truc qui est en face, mais à mon avis, je dois pouvoir sauter pour arriver à ce truc-là.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Vous vous rendez
I
compte que le
realize that
narrateur est en train
investing
de
your
parler.
trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Remarquez, je commence tout de suite par ne pas écouter ce qu'il dit de faire. Danger partout. Tiens, une 2B, c'est ce qu'on voyait, voilà, le couloir comme ça. J'ai dit, tiens, ça se trouve, il y a quelque chose derrière les cartons.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Non.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood.
Ah, l'enfoiré.
Through the red door.
Ah, l'enfoiré. En plus, il a supprimé la porte par laquelle je suis venu. Non, bah, toujours la bleue. Ah bon,
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Non.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Il va m'en sortir une porte rouge. Ah.
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go.
Oh.
A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Oula, attends. Ah, on est revenu aux portes du début, là. Bon, on va prendre celle-là, justement, exprès, pour continuer à faire nos wacks.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Je me fous de ta gueule.
One? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations or saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a one? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Mais... Vous croyez que c'est vraiment les vrais trucs? Je suis pas sûr. Ça fait pas 7 heures que je suis sur le jeu.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que ce bazar?
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, he'll fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Je vais rien faire.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.